Gaza, desperation has reached its peak. A once bustling region now teeters on the brink of famine. As hundreds of Palestinians storm a United Nations World Food Programme warehouse in search of life-saving aid. In the chaos, at least 4 lives are lost, trampled underfoot or shot in the chaos. The world watches as hunger, not just bombs, becomes the greatest enemy.
بدنا ناكل الجوع جعانين ندلينا معيش دلونا التكيات والميه وكل شيء طلع ايش حاطين لنا طلع ايش حاطين.
Their screams echo across the Gaza Strip as people tear apart the metal walls of the warehouse. They fight, shove and claw their way inside. With each second, the frenzied panic grows. Lives lost in the scramble for food that is simply not enough. The hospital reports at least 2 dead from being crushed by the crowd and 2 more from gunshot wounds. Innocent lives caught in a war not of their choosing.
من الجوع الصغار ما بدنا نقول لك يابا بدك بدك تسوي بدنا نبيع اي حاجه من دم عشان اطعميهم احنا مش لاقيين حاجه ناكلها احنا ما لقيت الشباب قاعد تجري قلت بالضروره ايش بيقول بخوف قلت خوف ما زال الشعب بيجيب قاعد خبونات من النار بدنا نطعم الصغار احنا جوعنا متنا وقفوا الحرب بالله.
It is a distraction from what is actually needed, which is a reopening of all the crossings into Gaza, a secure environment within Gaza, and faster facilitation of permissions and final approvals of all the emergency supplies that we have just outside the border and needs to get in.
Just 1 day before tragedy struck at a new aid distribution site set up by an Israeli and US-backed foundation, Palestinians surged forward, desperate for food. But the air was pierced with gunfire, warning shots from Israeli forces, or a reckless response. At least 1 Palestinian is killed and 48 others wounded, including children and women, as they are caught in the crossfire. The cries of the wounded reverberates as Israel defends its actions, claiming only to have fired warning shots.
And I can tell you that we have been watching the video coming out of Gaza around one of the distribution points set up by the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, and frankly, these images are heartbreaking to say the least.
Meanwhile, Israel's relentless airstrikes continue. The latest casualty? The last plane of Yemen's national airline, Yemenia, destroyed in an Israeli strike in Sana'a. In a twisted show of defiance, Yemen's Houthi rebels, aligned with Iran, vow to continue their missile strikes on Israel, echoing the larger regional conflict that has intertwined Gaza's plight with the broader Middle Eastern storm. Months of siege and airstrikes have drained Gaza of nearly everything. Aid has become a political weapon, a tool of control, as Israel establishes new, highly guarded hubs for food distribution. But the United Nations warns that these efforts designed to curb Hamas's power are failing. They say that food isn't just being used to feed people, it's being used to control them. As thousands gather at these distribution sites, hoping to find something, anything to eat, many are left with nothing but despair. In Rafah, a town cut off from the rest of Gaza, the air is thick with tension. UN agencies refuse to cooperate with the new system, fearing that it will forcibly displace Gaza's 2.3 million residents and violate international law. Under the weight of the siege, Gaza's humanitarian crisis deepens. The Palestinian ambassador to the UN breaks down as he recounts the horrors, the deaths of over 1,300 children, and the stories of mothers holding their motionless babies, whispering apologies in the dark. Riyad Mansour, his voice trembling, slams his fist onto the table as he struggles to hold back tears. The weight of Gaza's pain bears down on him. overwhelming him in front of the Security Council.
Unbearable. How could anyone tolerate this horror? Excuse me, Mr. President. I have grandchildren. I know what they mean to their families. And to see this situation of the Palestinians without us having hearts to do something is beyond the ability of any normal human being to tolerate.
More than 54,000 Palestinians have perished since Israel's retaliatory campaign began in the wake of Hamas's October 7 attack. Mansour's cries are not just for the fallen, but for the innocent children of Gaza, their lives taken too soon, their futures stolen. Riyad Mansour was not just the representative of a nation. He was a father, a grandfather, speaking for every parent, every grandparent, every human being who has ever loved a child. The images of Gaza's suffering, its children's shattered lives are etched in his heart. The words of Ambassador Mansour will echo for a long time, a reminder of the pain, the humanity, and the undeniable need for action in Gaza. For the people of Gaza, there's no end in sight. The war has ravaged their land, and the future is uncertain. The cries for help grow louder, but the world remains silent or worse, complicit. World leaders watch as Gaza collapses, while those trapped within it struggle, not just for survival, but for their dignity. In the rubble amidst the chaos, Palestinians ask, how long must this torture last? The world must ask itself, how long? Until we stop watching and start acting. Until we stop merely counting bodies and start saving lives.